I'm Joe Graydon.
And I'm Terry Graydon. Welcome to this podcast of the People's Pharmacy.
You can find previous podcasts and more information on a range of health topics at peoplespharmacy.com. Why are so many young people nearsighted? Could screens have anything to do with it? Is there an antidote? This is the People's Pharmacy with Terry and Joe Graydon.
They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. Our guest today is a renowned retina specialist. She'll share her research on using the eyes as a window to the brain.
Have you ever suffered with dry eyes? What causes this very uncomfortable condition? And more importantly, what can you do about it?
Our vision is critical to our well-being. What should we do to protect it?
Coming up on the People's Pharmacy, answering your questions about vision problems.
In the People's Pharmacy Health Headlines, many older people are dealing with joint pain due to arthritis. They're also worrying about cognitive decline. A recent study in Nature Metabolism suggests that a popular supplement to treat painful joints may accelerate dementia. Glucosamine sulfate, alone or in combination with chondroitin, has long been a staple of non-pharmaceutical arthritis care. Researchers noted the importance of glycan metabolism in the brain. Consequently, they tested the effects of glucosamine in mice genetically engineered to be susceptible to amyloid buildup and dementia. These mice had increased glycan synthesis in their brains, as well as behavioral changes when given glucosamine. The scientists also evaluated electronic health records of people with mild cognitive impairment or Alzheimer's disease. Those taking glucosamine were more likely to die or progress from mild impairment to dementia. This suggests that people vulnerable to Alzheimer's disease might want to avoid glucosamine.
Vitamin C may not get the respect it deserves. Many people think of this crucial nutrient as protection against scurvy, a rare vitamin deficiency that leads to fatigue, gum disease, joint pain, and many other health problems. But vitamin C plays a crucial role in immune function, gene expression, and enzymatic reactions. A new study from Japan suggests that ascorbic acid also plays a critical role for brain function. The researchers analyzed imaging data from over 2,000 older people. They also monitored vitamin C levels in the blood. People with low levels of ascorbic acid in their blood had reduced gray matter in their brains. They also had fewer neuronal connections in the part of the brain involved in self-reflection and autobiographical memory. The authors conclude plasma vitamin C levels are also significantly associated with cognitive performance, suggesting that adequate plasma vitamin C levels may support cognitive functions and potentially counteract cognitive decline.
In days gone by, the old wives used to advise that fish is brain food. Now, French scientists have confirmed the benefits of fish for brain function among older individuals with accelerated cognitive decline. In a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, 53 people received either fish hydrolysate or placebo daily for 3 months. They were tested at the beginning and end of the study. Those on the fish hydrolysate scored better on episodic memory and working memory. The scientists attributed this improved performance to the higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and low molecular weight peptides present in the fish hydrolysate.
GLP-1 drugs are extremely popular these days because they help overweight people shed pounds. These are medications such as Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. The generic names include semaglutide and tirzepatide. One drawback, however, is that weight loss often means loss of muscle as well. Consequently, it's important for people taking such medications to exercise more to maintain muscle strength. A new study suggests, however, that people on GLP-1 type medications may actually exercise less. That's the conclusion from an analysis of electronic health records and Fitbit activity data. About 750 adults were tracked. Step counts decreased from about 5,000 per day to not quite 4,500 steps per day. The amount of time spent in moderate to vigorous activity also decreased from 28 minutes to 22 minutes daily. One conclusion was that people losing weight on GLP-1 medications need encouragement and interventions to increase physical activity.
Epidemiologists have noted a link between obesity and a higher risk of breast cancer. Some scientists wondered whether people taking GLP-1 drugs to control their weight would be at reduced risk for breast cancer. To shed light on this question, they analyzed the health records of more than 100,000 women with an elevated BMI and a mammogram on record. People taking a GLP-1 medicine had a 30% lower likelihood of a breast cancer diagnosis. And that's the health news from the People's Pharmacy this week. Welcome to the People's Pharmacy. I'm Terry Graydon. I'm a medical anthropologist.
And I'm Joe Graydon. I'm a pharmacologist. Today, we're talking about your eyes. Our vision is precious. How can we best preserve it? Our lines are open for your calls and questions. The number to participate in today's live broadcast is 888-472-3366. We do need a favor, though. Please consider whether your question is of broad general interest.
To answer your questions, we are pleased to have a special guest here in the studio. Dr. Sharon Fekrat is a retina surgeon at the Duke Eye Center of the Duke Health Integrated Practice and Vice Chair of Faculty Affairs. She is also the Robert Macomber, M.D., Distinguished Professor of Ophthalmology at the Duke University School of Medicine. She's Associate Chief of Staff at the Durham VA Healthcare System and past Interim Chief of Surgery there. She's Director of Duke EyeMind Research Group and Chief Editor of the book All About Your Eyes. She's also editor of the Digital Journal of Case Reports of Ophthalmology. Dr. Fekrat is past president of the North Carolina Society of Eye Physicians and Surgeons. Welcome back to the People's Pharmacy, Dr. Fekrat.
Thank you so much for having me today.
We love having you in studio, and we love having you answering questions from our listeners. But before we delve into some of these really challenging eye problems, let's talk about myopia. And I think a lot of people are, what is myopia again? Well, I think that's what you would call nearsightedness, and it's on the rise. In 2000, 23% of the world's population had myopia. In 2020, it was 34%. And by 2050, it's predicted to be 50%. And in Southeast Asia, children are starting to have myopia at rates that are astonishing. 8 out of 9 of every 10 high school grads have myopia. A few generations ago, it was 1 out of 2. So what's going on, Dr. Fekrat?
Well, we are definitely seeing more myopia or nearsightedness. And I think it's due in part to the environment of children because their visual environment has changed perhaps faster than their genes could. You know, genetics matter, but children with nearsighted or myopic parents are more likely to become nearsighted. But the rapid rise around the world points to environmental factors too. Children are spending more time indoors, doing lots of close work such as schoolwork, reading, phones, tablets, computers, and less time outside.
Now, are there implications for eye health? I mean, if you're nearsighted, you wear glasses, even if you're a little kid. But is there anything beyond that that's more troubling?
Yes. As an eye becomes more nearsighted in general, the eyeball becomes more elongated. So instead of a round watermelon or a cantaloupe, it's more of one of those oval shaped watermelons. And in the eyeball itself becoming larger like that, some of the structures stretch, and there's an increased risk for retinal detachment, for example, and other retinal problems.
Now, is it reversible? In other words, everybody's staring at their phones, at their tablets, looking at screens, and even reading. Can you reverse myopia if you go outside and you look at the sky or the birds or trees?
Well, once myopia starts, we can't reverse it, but there's a lot of work being done to slow it down. And there's that 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes of near work, look away 20 feet for about 20 seconds. And that may help slow the progression of myopia.
I assume also that it would make sense to intervene when children are very little before it becomes really baked in, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Well, the strongest practical protective factor we know is outdoor time. So children who spend more time outdoors are less likely to become myopic.
And there may be other health benefits to that as well.
Yes.
Okay. Our number is 888-472-3366. We invite you to call in your questions, and we'll try to get them answered. You can also send us email, radio@peoplespharmacy.com. We'd love to know where you are, so please include that in your email. And we are going to talk to Carl in Sarasota, Florida. Hi, Carl.
Hi.
What's on your mind?
So my question is about ocular migraines, and I was curious, are ocular migraines an eye problem or are they a neurological problem?
And maybe you could tell us, if you have had an ocular migraine, what it's like.
I have had a few ocular migraines, or I've had what other people have told me, including medical professionals, have been ocular migraines. They generally start with like pixels in my vision, and then it seems to go throughout the rest of my body, and there's like a jittery or shaky feeling. And it seems to run for maybe an hour or two. It's a gradual increase and then a fade away, and no residual effect. But it's really disconcerting because the first time or two I thought I was having a stroke.
Well, I have to tell you, Carl, I've been there and done that because I've also had ocular migraines. And the first time, it really freaked me out. I was like, do I need to go to the emergency department? For me, it's like a little wavy line that starts and moves across my field of vision. Doesn't last that long, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes, and it just gradually fades away. There's no pain, so it's like, why are they calling this a migraine? So what's going on, Dr. Feckra?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Carl. So, migraines and headaches themselves are sometimes associated with visual phenomenon, and typically you have pain, headache pain. Ocular migraines are different. We assume that they're caused by blood vessel spasm in the retina wallpaper inside the eye itself. And that is visual phenomenon alone without pain, without headache pain. And so the visual phenomenon vary. Each person has something different, and it can be lights and dots and colors. But they usually last shorter than what you describe. They're usually, within 30 minutes, I would say. And they're not associated with any other whole body symptoms. So definitely an evaluation by a neurologist to help sort out the exact cause is suggested.
And is there anything you can do about it? I mean, they just go away, so I don't worry about it anymore.
Exactly. They do go away. I think part of it is learning perhaps what your triggers could be. Is it caffeine? Is it stress? Is it not enough sleep?
I've got another question for you before we go back to the phones. There are a lot of specialties in medicine, We've got dermatologists, have gastroenterologists and cardiologists, and then we have, various shades of cardiology. But, primarily if you have a heart problem, you go to a cardiologist, and neurologists and orthopedics and, on and on. In ophthalmology, there's like so many subspecialties. There are people like you, retina specialists. There are people who focus on the cornea. There are people who are neuro-ophthalmologists.
There are people who act sort of like primary care providers for eye stuff, and we call them ophthalmologists, but there's a lot of specialties.
How come?
Well, we have many, many specialists. So within ophthalmology itself, and outside ophthalmology, as you know, we have optometrists. And so in ophthalmology, the technology has been booming. The available treatments for certain conditions are skyrocketing. And so in order to be solid and knowledgeable and very good at what you do, sub-specializing is very helpful. So even within retina, we have uveitis specialist, pediatric retina specialist, and that's also very subdivided as well.
So how would somebody know who they should see?
Well, we generally recommend a comprehensive eye exam, so a complete eye examination.
How often?
So in general, if there are no vision problems and no known conditions that you have, once a year.
And when it comes to then going a little deeper, how is your ophthalmologist the traffic cop?
Well, if you have an entirely normal eye exam, then there's no reason to go deeper. But if a condition's identified, you can ask your eye doctor if you should see a specialist.
And what is included in a quote-unquote thorough eye exam? What should people be asking for?
Right. Well, checking the vision at distance and near, sometimes a glasses examination to see if you need it and what the prescription would be, a screen for glaucoma, full
and
dilated
that's
eye
checking
exam.
pressure?
Yes, and that's checking the eye pressure, and then putting eye drops in to dilate the pupil and to take a look inside to look for all sorts of conditions.
When we come back after the break, we are going to want to ask you about low-pressure glaucoma because that's a real thing. And so how would somebody know if they have glaucoma if their pressure is normal?
And we're also going to talk about dry eyes and what that feels like and what works for you. And we've got a question about blepharitis.
All right.
So we'll hear about that too.
All that after the break. Our lines are open for your calls and questions about your eyes. That number again, Terry?
The number is 888-472-3366. And you can also send us email radio@peoplespharmacy.com.
Our guest today, Dr. Sharon Feckrad, a retina surgeon at the Duke Eye Center. We'd love to hear from you. Again, our lines are open, 888-472-3366.
You're listening to The People's Pharmacy with Joe and Terry Graydon. Welcome back to The People's Pharmacy. I'm Terry Graydon.
And I'm Joe Graydon. The People's Pharmacy is brought to you in part by Sonu, an FDA-cleared, drug-free treatment for nasal congestion and runny nose, a sound-based alternative to steroids. More information at getsonu.com. That's getsonu.com.
Today, we're answering your questions about vision problems. Or more accurately, Dr. Sharon Feckrad is offering the answers. Please don't expect personal diagnoses or recommendations over the radio, of course. Dr. Feckrad is a retina surgeon at the Duke Eye Center of the Duke Health Integrated Practice, and she's also Vice Chair of Faculty Affairs. She is the Robert Mockemer, M.D., Distinguished Professor of Ophthalmology at the Duke University School of Medicine. She's director of Duke iMind Research Group and chief editor of the book All About Your Eyes, as well as editor of the Digital Journal of Case Reports of Ophthalmology.
And we invite you to ask your question or share your story at 888-472-3366. If the lines are full, as they are at the moment, you can email us, radio@peoplespharmacy.com. Please tell us where you're located in that email message. Again, that's radio@peoplespharmacy.com.
Joe, let's talk to Bill in Fort Worth, Texas. Bill, welcome to the People's Pharmacy. What's on your mind?
Oh, hi. I have a comment and a question. First, the comment. I want to thank you both for your contributions to the public knowledge of health. I think both of you should be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, you're so
Thank you,
kind,
Bill.
Bill. Thanks for that. But what is your question, please?
Question. I've actually two of them. One, I'm a senior, and I noticed recently in the morning I have the opposite of dry eyes. My eyes water, and I have to wipe them away. And the second thing is, a few years ago I had a stroke, and it affected part of my brain, and I see double vision when I look at the television. Is there anything that could be done about that, or am I just screwed? Those are the questions.
Okay, well, thank you so
thank you,
much.
Bill.
I'm going
And-
to suggest you take the answer over the radio if you don't mind. Dr. Fekrat.
Yes. Hi, Bill. Thank you for calling in. So, dry eyes can sometimes lead to watery eyes. And so, how that works is when the eyes are very dry, the crying tears kick in, and then the eyes start tearing or watering. And it sounds like that may be what's happening in the morning. So, trying hot, wet washcloths when you wake up over your closed eyes may really be helpful and decrease the watering. And double vision that you described, there are many, many causes of double vision. But since you shared that you had a stroke, that's related to that. And there are prisms that may sometimes be put in the glasses prescription that no one else can see in your glasses that can help you manage the double vision during
So
the day.
it might be a good idea for Bill to visit a optometrist and get a prescription for prisms.
Yes, and if the optometrist needs to, can refer you to a pediatric ophthalmologist who specializes in double vision.
Oh, how
So, a
interesting.
pediatric ophthalmologist, even if you're an older person with double vision.
Yes.
Okay, that's not intuitive. Let's go to Rick in Beaufort, South Carolina. Hi, Rick. Welcome to the
Hello
People's
there.
Pharmacy. What's your question?
Well, I'm going to vote for that Nobel. But I have been wearing glasses to correct for short-sightedness for a long time. And recently, I have a little bit of migraine stuff fluttering, not my big problem. In the afternoon, because I sit at the desk looking at the computer screen, the left eye gets blurry. And I go to the doctor regularly. She's really terrific. And she said that I have these little bugs in my eyes.
Oh, wait a
Bugs.
minute.
Oh.
Bugs in
Bugs.
your eyes.
Okay, keep going.
They're mites.
Uh-huh.
And a common name. And she said that she's been after me to use the hot compress on the eyes every morning, and I hadn't been doing that. But she said this will really help. And then you follow that with these eye drops in the morning and the evening, and they're called XDEMVY. And I said, okay, great. And she said, here's a prescription, and here's an application to get a grant. I said, why would I need a grant? She said, they're $950 a bottle, and I want you to get 3 bottles. So the questions are, how good is this drug? The first bottle really didn't seem to do much good. I wasn't doing it every night. Now I'm doing it morning and night. I'm on the second bottle. I'm wondering, how many bottles am I going to have to go through? How many applications for money am I going to have to, grant money am I going to have to write? Is this XDEMVY stuff really going to work? And is it a forever drug, or is it supposed to knock it out?
Oh,
Rick-
thanks so much for that question,
That's a
Rick.
wonderful question. And we just so happen, by accident or good planning to have an Extemi commercial. So, Al, would you please run the first commercial for Extemvi?
Got eyelid itching and crusties that won't go away? It could be
Demodex blepharitis, and we're Demodex mites, but we love making ourselves comfortable here.
with 1 drop in each eye twice a day, you can kill the mites in just 6 weeks. Don't touch the tip of the bottle to your eye or any surface to minimize contamination. Wait 15 minutes before inserting contact lenses. The most common side effects are stinging and burning in 1 out of 10 patients. It's not you, it's Demodex mites.
Okay, so Dr. Sharon Fekrat.
Wait, first I have to tell you, this is the dumbest commercial.
It is. It's
I've
a really
ever
obnoxious commercial.
I mean-
People are dressed up, humans are dressed up like Demodex mites.
I mean, and they are really funny looking, and they're in your eyelashes.
Well, Demodex mites live everywhere on our skin, probably, but definitely they live on our face, and they like the hair follicles. That's where they like to hang out. They're too little to see, but probably all of us have some Demodex mites on our skin. And obviously, if they like hair follicles, they would like eyelash follicles,
Well, Terry,
too.
I want to run the second
All right.
Demodex mite commercial. Let's take a listen.
Meet Grace. She has Demodex blepharitis. She wakes up with itchy, crusty eyelids every morning. Now meet the Demodex mites. They wake up thriving, but Grace is over this endless routine. Oh, Grace, ask your doctor about Extemvi, a prescription that targets and kills the mites. Don't touch the tip of the bottle to your eye or any surface to minimize contamination. Wait 15 minutes before inserting contact lenses. The most common side effects are stinging and burning in 1 out of 10 patients. Break the cycle. Kill the mites.
All right, Dr. Fekrat, kill the mites. What's going on?
Well, as Rick has already established, this drug's very expensive. How good is it?
Yes. So, hi, Rick. Extemvi is the only treatment that we have available right now for these mites. And they do live on our skin and our lids. And the way we're able to diagnose it is we do not see the mites when we examine someone's eyelids and lashes. But there are signs that the mites are there, like the plates and cups after a party. And so Extemvi is recommended twice a day, morning and night, for just 6 weeks. And then you can discontinue it, and the mites should be gone. So it's been shown to be effective, and the FDA approved it. However, these mites can return. And if it returns, then you have to repeat the 6-week course.
And I'm assuming it returns because, as we've just said, we all have Demodex mites living on our skin where we can't see them, can't feel them, but some of us have bodies that react to the mites.
That's right. And probably after finishing a course of Extemvi, keeping those lids and lashes as clean as possible, perhaps with a 50-50 mixture of baby shampoo and water and a nice little cotton tip or Q-tip to sort of shampoo those lashes may help.
But it is expensive, as Rick pointed out, and not every insurance company is going to go ahead and approve it.
Yes, what I often suggest to patients is call the company and tell them you need a special coupon.
Okay, thank you for that. Terry, let's just ask about dry eyes before we
Absolutely.
segue to the next phone call.
Let us do that. Why do we get dry eyes, and what can we do about it?
So with dry eye, we have to look at our tear film. So our eyelids are like windshield wipers, and we need our eyeballs themselves to be moist. And our tear film is made up of mucus, water, and fat. And all of those components need to be working well together to keep our eyes moist. And so sometimes, particularly with age or certain health conditions or medications, our eyes can become dry. And when they're dry, they tear in response.
And we've heard so much about eye drops, like you should get the ones without the preservatives in them, get the ones with the individual containers. What do you recommend?
Well, there are now many eye drops for dry eye available over the counter. And then there are also many, if those aren't working as well or you need something more, there are many prescription eye drops.
So give us some of your favorites. We don't mind mentioning brand names.
Well, there's been a lot in the news about infections from certain brands and types of artificial tears. So artificial tears can come in a bottle that have preservatives, and if you're using the teardrops more than 4 times a day, we recommend the preservative-free that come in the little vials. And I often recommend Systane or Refresh.
And Systane is spelled with an S.
Yes, Systane.
Okay. And Refresh is another possibility.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of controversy about surgical strategies. In other words, when people say, okay, throw away your glasses forever, just come in and we'll take care of that once and for all. But some people complain about dry eyes after they've had that surgery.
Yes, that's true. Dry eyes can worsen or develop or be exacerbated by really any type of eye surgery, especially eye surgery that involves the surface of the eye more, such as the get rid of your glasses surgery.
Okay. Terry, where are we going?
Well, we're going back to Dallas, Texas to talk to William. William, please let us know what your question is.
Yes, good. Yeah, great day to you all, and thank you for this opportunity. I recently getting my physical annual eye checkups. I realized the doctors offered, instead of dilating my eyes, there's this new technology now. They're taking pictures, and I just wondered how accurate that was. We talked about, checking on the insides of the eye. So I just wanted to throw that out there and see what your thoughts are on that.
Thanks for that, William. This is technology I don't know anything about. Dr. Fekrat, what is it?
Well, hi, William. Yes, this is an incredibly timely question. So our technology and our ability to image the eyes has progressed, and I envision a time in the future where you may be able to take these images at home and send them up to an artificial intelligence model that reads them for you. But as long as you're not having any symptoms in particular, instead of dilating the pupil, taking those photographs serve as a useful screening. It may be as good as some non-retina specialists' ability to examine the retina. It's not 100%, but it's a great screening tool. And one thing that you could ask is for extra pictures that we call steered images. So you can look up, they can take a picture. You can look left, they can take another picture. You can look down, another picture, and so on. And that will capture more of the retina as if you were dilated.
Sounds like a great opportunity. Oh, congratulations on new technology. Where to, Terry?
Well, I think we're going to Delaware County, New York, if I can get this call up, and we'll talk to Lori. Hi, Lori. What's your question, please?
I'm not sure Lori has.
Here we go. Just a second.
Engaged.
We're going to find it.
All right.
Where did Lori go? Here we go.
Right here. Hello.
There you are.
Now we've got you on.
Lori, what's up?
I am here. Hi. My question is regarding retinal health. In the last several months, since the last fall, I've had several retinal tears, and am first in one eye and then more recently in the other. So that was particularly concerning to me because, you think if something were to happen to one eye, at least you maybe still have the other to function with. And so I've been curious as to what one might be able to do to preserve retinal health and diminish the likelihood of future tears. And I know you recently were speaking about eye drops for dry eyes, but I'm also curious because I had purchased the Systane and wonder. But I was surprised when my specialist said, "No, I don't need to do anything like that." So I'm just curious as to what I might do.
Okay, well, thank you, Lori. Dr. Feckert, first of all, what is a retinal tear? That's
It
your
sounds
specialty.
bad.
Yeah, so in the back of our eye behind the pupil, we have the retina wallpaper. And the retina is like the film of an old-fashioned camera. And so it's something that's not replaceable, and so we want to take care of our retinal health. As we age or after eye surgery or an eye injury, the vitreous humor that fills the eyeball behind the pupil liquefies and separates from the retina wallpaper that it's stuck to. And some individuals will notice floaters after that. But floaters can also indicate that there's a retinal tear. So when the vitreous separates, it can get stuck in some people's eyes and then tear the retina. These retinal tears usually only develop during the time where the vitreous is liquefying and separating. And after a few months, you're often then home free. Nothing's 100%.
And is there anything you can do to prevent a retinal tear?
There is no definite way to prevent a retinal tear. You can get a good dilated retinal exam, and if there are some warning areas and beginnings of things, those can sometimes be treated.
Now, I have another question that came in on email about retinal problems. Marcia writes, I want to know about bleeding retina, which my husband has now. He takes medication for high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Is the bleeding retina related to that? He also runs regularly, and he wears a CPAP machine at night. So what's the story on all of these other health issues, and how do they relate to retinal health?
And we just have 30 seconds before the break.
Yes, so our general health can affect the retina for sure. And with the blood pressure and the sleep apnea that he has with the machine he wears at night, a plugged vein can lead to bleeding in the retina, and we call that a retinal vein occlusion. And there are treatments now, and a retina specialist could help you.
Great. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk more about your eye health, especially macular degeneration, and we'll find out about Dr. Feckert's research. Our lines are open at 888-472-3366. If you get a busy signal, you can email us, radio@peoplespharmacy.com. Please tell us where you're located. Again, that number, 888-472-3366.
You're listening to The People's Pharmacy with Joe and Terry Graydon.
Welcome back to The People's Pharmacy. I'm Joe Graydon.
And I'm Terry Graydon. Today we're answering your questions about vision problems. Our guest is Dr. Sharon Feckert, a retina surgeon at the Duke Eye Center of the Duke Health Integrated Practice. She's also the Robert Mockemer, M.D., Distinguished Professor of Ophthalmology at the Duke University School of Medicine. Dr. Feckert was the chief editor of the book All About Your Eyes.
And we're going to start this segment by talking about macular degeneration. It's a pretty serious condition. It affects a lot of people.
And Joe, we have a question about macular degeneration. Do you want
Let's take the question, and then we're going to see another. Well, we aren't going to see it, but we're going to hear another commercial.
All right. Pat in Wilmington, North Carolina. Your question, please.
Hi. In my last eye exam, my doctor told me that I had the early stages of wet macular degeneration and suggested that, or recommended that I start taking vitamins, the AREDS 2 vitamins. And that was it. And I felt like I probably needed to have a little more guidance, and I guess I was just shocked by the diagnosis. But should I be seeing a specialist or going to my eye doctor more regularly to track whether this is progressing significantly or not?
Pat, that's a great question. And Dr. Feckert, you are perfectly situated to, first of all, Tell us the difference between wet and dry, and then what should Pat be doing?
And what is macular degeneration in the first place?
Hi, Pat. So macular degeneration is something that usually develops in individuals over 65 years old. And sometimes they have a family history and sometimes they don't. But smoking and blood pressure and sunlight can contribute to its development. There is dry and there's wet. And it sounds like you have early dry age-related macular degeneration. And the recommendations for early is indeed those vitamins that were suggested. They're AREDS vitamins.
AREDS, whatever
Yes.
that stands for.
Yes.
It's the name of a study that's actually established that they're helpful in reducing the progression.
Yes, so it's a National Eye Institute study that recommended these vitamins, and they're over-the-counter, called Preservision vitamins. And they decrease the risk of the dry becoming wet, where abnormal blood vessels grow and leak and bleed, and can decrease your central vision.
Well, speaking of dry macular degeneration, we are going to go to a commercial for Izervay. Al?
Man, I love this place. But when my dry AMD progressed to geographic atrophy, or GA, I was worried I'd be seeing less of it. My retina specialist told me that Izervay protects healthy retinal cells longer and is proven to slow GA.
Slow it down, get GA going slower.
Which could help me see what I love for longer.
Izervay, get GA going slower.
Izervay is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam.
With Izervay, I'm taking action to slow my GA, and seeing him out there means everything to me.
Ask your retina specialist how you could help preserve your vision longer with Izervay.
I have to say that if you haven't seen this commercial, the place that he loves and loves to see is beautiful. It's a beach. It looks like it's a West Coast beach, perhaps. And he and a younger man, probably his son, are surfing. The younger man is doing the surfing, and the older man is doing some coaching, and they're driving around in a bright orange old pickup truck, and it just looks like they're having a lovely time, except for the brief interlude in the retina specialist's office, which does not look like a lovely time at all.
So tell us about these eye injections. How good are they? How much are they? And what's the story on preventing or controlling macular
And we won't
degeneration?
ask why every commercial has to have a dog in it.
Yes. So 3 years ago, the FDA approved two medications. One is Izervay and the other Syfovre for advanced dry macular degeneration. And Pat had early.
Right. So this is way beyond where Pat is.
Yes. And these are designed to slow down the progression of blind spots from advanced dry macular degeneration. They're injections into the eye every month, forever.
Wow. And how much are they?
They are expensive. However, they are covered by insurance.
So if your insurance company will approve them, they can make a difference.
Yes.
And if the insurance company doesn't approve them, it's thousands of dollars a month.
And they don't actually cure the problem. They don't stop the problem, but they do slow it down.
That's right. They don't reverse the damage that's there. They don't stop it. They slow it down. Really, the longer you get it, the better it works. So they slow it down anywhere from 15% to sometimes 30 to 40% after some years of getting it.
So it's something, but not perfect.
Correct.
We have a question from Paul that is a little bit different. He wants to know if there's any effects on the eyes of wearing glasses that have like video screens in them, this new technology. Do we know anything about that?
So right now, there's no known effect of staring at video screens other than the consistent near work that we talked about earlier.
So if you had the video screen put into your glasses or the whatever it is, those virtual reality glasses that are, we don't know about any effects, but there might be some.
Right. We just don't understand it yet.
Okay. Well, we have a question about cataracts from David in Charlottesville. Welcome to the People's Pharmacy, David.
Hi.
What's on your mind?
Great to be here.
Go ahead.
Well, my question is, after cataract surgery in my right eye last year, my vision has never been the same. It's very, very blurry. I am myopic. I'm nearsighted, and I have glaucoma. So my question is that normal for my eyesight after the surgery to deteriorate, to be a lot worse?
Thank you for your question, David. So that is not normal. Usually after cataract surgery, and the reason you have it is to have vision improvement. And so it would be important to ask your cataract doctor why you're not seeing as well, because there is a long list of possible explanations.
So definitely go back, maybe even get a second opinion, see if there's anything that can be done to improve the situation.
We also have an email from LJ from Louisville, Kentucky, and she has sisters. They're all in their 70s. She's 67. And they've all been told by their various ophthalmologists in different places that they are starting to have cataracts. And she wants to know what causes cataracts. Is there anything you can do to delay the development of cataracts? And are those lenses that they put in to replace your natural lens, are they made of plastic?
So, excellent question, LJ. So cataracts grow with time. So if we all live to 100, we'll eventually have cataracts. And everyone over 50 has some. We don't know how to prevent cataract formation now, but during cataract surgery, that cataract or cloudy lens is removed, and a lens implant that's artificial and man-made is put back in. And they're not plastic. They're made of different materials, including silicone and polymethyl methacrylate.
Okay. Dr. Fekerat, you have been doing some extraordinary research at Duke over the last several years. You call it iMind. That's the group that you have formed. Can you tell us what that stands for, what you're looking at, and what the hope is for the future?
Thank you so much. So iMind is sort of spelled like iPhone, but it's iMind, and it stands for eye, multimodal imaging, in neurodegenerative disease. And our goal is to take pictures of the retina, and we've talked about some of those earlier today, and understand what the findings are in people who also have Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's, ALS, multiple sclerosis, and other conditions. And we ultimately would like to be able to identify, track response to treatment, screen individuals for these conditions using retinal images.
Now, this retinal imaging, it's called OCT something, right?
Yes, so we are using many different kinds. So OCT is an optical cross-section of the retina, and then also the color photographs that were mentioned earlier.
Right. And I know that part of an eye exam, not necessarily a standard eye exam, an extra part of an eye exam can involve these pictures. The T stands for tomography, which implies computers are involved. Is there any way now that the pictures that your eye doctor gets of your retina can be used, or does this have to be done in a research setting?
Well, right now it is not ready for prime time, so you are not able to go to your eye doctor and get these pictures to answer that question. You can still go and get these photographs and these OCTs and images, but that question cannot yet be answered because it's still under study.
Okay.
And have you learned anything about this sort of concept that windows are the
No, not windows.
eyes, are the windows of your brain?
You know, the eyeball is an extension of the brain, and all kinds of studies have shown that what is happening in the retina in particular is mirroring what's happening in the brain. So if you're losing some of the small blood vessels in the retina, you're also losing some of the small blood vessels in your brain.
Dr. Fekrat, earlier we talked about glaucoma, and we talked about it as a condition in which the pressure inside the eyeball increases, and that's how it damages the optic nerve. But not everybody with glaucoma actually has elevated pressure in their eyeball. Can you tell us anything about normal pressure or low pressure glaucoma? And how would you know if you had it, and what do you do about it?
Normal pressure glaucoma can sometimes be challenging to diagnose because, as you mentioned, we expect glaucoma to be high eye pressure. Normal eye pressure is between 9 and 21 millimeters of mercury. So if someone has all of the other findings of glaucoma,
which are
damage to the optic nerve or loss of peripheral or side vision, and some other findings on different OCT types of tests that we just talked about, but the pressure is normal, then they receive the diagnosis of normal pressure glaucoma, which we're now starting to think that maybe it's related to the pressure in the brain, too.
And what can be done?
So to treat glaucoma, the goal is to lower the pressure, and over time, your glaucoma specialist or eye doctor can determine what pressure it needs to be below, so what the threshold is that causes damage.
So even if it's low pressure glaucoma, they still want to lower the pressure.
Even further.
Okay, we have time for maybe one or two more questions.
Did
Terry.
you want to talk to John in Greenville, North Carolina?
Let's see. Very quickly, let's go to John in Greenville.
Okay. Hi, John. What's your question, please?
Hello.
Go ahead.
My question is, I'm a long-time contact lens wearer, monovision, and I'm curious if the solution that I use daily when I put them in and take them out has any negative effect on my eyes, the health of my eyes.
Great
long
question.
term.
Thank you, John. Dr. Fekrat.
Oh, hi, John. So the solution that you're using should be FDA approved if you purchased it from the drugstore and off the shelf. I would say that even more importantly than the solution you're using is to make sure that you wash your hands, as you know, every time you deal with the contact lenses, and make sure that your case is clean unless they're disposable lenses, and definitely don't sleep with them on.
Okay. Let's take one last call from Karen in Dallas, Texas. Karen, you have a suggestion.
Hi. I have dealt with a couple of instances of itchy eyes, and I'm grateful for the call that you got this morning about Demodex. I went to school for animal medical technology, and I didn't put the two together, but I live on a small farm, and I have a lot of animals. And I tried washing with soap and water on my eyes, and that helped a little bit for a little while. But then I started swimming in the senior pool where there's a lot of chemicals, chlorine and stuff, and it really took away the itching.
Aha.
So the question, I guess, is, Dr. Fekrat, can chlorinated swimming pool water kill those mites?
Demodex mites.
I guess you never know. You might be onto something here.
I have to say, I don't like swimming with my eyes unprotected in chlorinated water because it makes them hurt afterwards. But if it worked for Karen, that sounds great for you, Karen.
Thank you for that call. We have just 1 minute left. We got a call from Karen in Erie, Pennsylvania. Her husband has really severe dry eyes, has tried various treatments. Nothing has helped. Any other suggestions, Dr. Fekrat?
For severe dry eye, what can you do?
Yes, well, I would say it may be time to see a dry eye specialist. So we do have dry eye specialists, and they can look at whether you need lubrication, which anti-inflammatory treatment, or other treatments such as maybe even LipiFlow.
Okay, thank you so much.
And the LipiFlow is a machine, basically, that squeezes the eyelid a little bit to get the oils flowing.
And it has some heat in it as well.
The meibomian glands,
Yes.
is that
Exactly.
right? Okay.
We are all out of time. Thank you so much for listening and for sharing your stories.
The People's Pharmacy is a co-production of North Carolina Public Radio, WUNC, with the People's Pharmacy.
Lynn Siegel produced today's show. Pamela Alberta provided technical assistance. Al Wodarski engineered. We also had help from Jenny.
Yes, we did, from Jenny Lawson. And the People's Pharmacy theme music is by B.J. Liederman.
Thanks today to our guest, Dr. Sharon Fekrat.
Dr. Fekrat is a retina surgeon at the Duke Eye Center of the Duke Health Integrated Practice and Vice Chair of Faculty Affairs. She's also the Robert Mockamer, M.D., Distinguished Professor of Ophthalmology at the Duke University School of Medicine. She's Associate Chief of Staff at the Durham VA Healthcare System and past Interim Chief of Surgery there. She's Director of the Duke iMind Research Group and Chief Editor of the book All About Your Eyes, as well as editor of the Digital Journal of Case Reports of Ophthalmology. Dr. Fekrat is past president of the North Carolina Society of Eye Physicians and Surgeons.
Today's show is number 1477. You can find it online at peoplespharmacy.com. You can subscribe to our podcast through your favorite podcast provider. We post the show on our website on Monday morning. That's where you can share your thoughts about this show, and you can email us your comments. That email address is radio@peoplespharmacy.com.
At peoplespharmacy.com, you could sign up for our free online newsletter. It's an easy way to stay on top of breaking health news. By subscribing to our newsletter, you also get regular access to our weekly podcast, and you can find out ahead of time what topics we'll be covering. Speaking of the podcast, we'd be grateful if you would write a review. Post it to the podcast platform you prefer.
In Durham, North Carolina, I'm Joe Grayton.
And I'm Terry Grayton. Thanks for listening. Please join us again next week. Thank you for listening to the People's Pharmacy Podcast. It's an honor and a pleasure to bring you our award-winning program week in and week out. But producing and distributing this show as a free podcast takes time and costs money.
If you like what we do and you'd like to help us continue to produce high-quality, independent healthcare journalism, please consider chipping in.
All you have to do is go to peoplespharmacy.com/donate.
Whether it's just one time or a monthly donation, you can be part of the team that makes this show possible. Thank you for your continued loyalty and support. We couldn't make our show without you.